I wanted to wait. I was going to talk some General Mariner stuff here and wait to talk about Cal Raleigh, but it's impossible, Brock. It is the story. It is one of the coolest stories I think we've covered in our 16 years together here with the Mariners and with Seattle sports in general. He is putting together right now as dominant a performance as anything we've seen. You mentioned that last week, and I think the only one that really came close was Felix during his Cy Young season, where he just was every 5 days, you just knew he was going to go out and dominate, and he did. Mm-hmm. Cal is hitting that rarefied air, and I'll admit I'm sort of running out of ways to say how great he is. We'll ask Jeff Passan about it Wednesday. I'll ask Buster about it. Buster only going to join us on Wednesday and get his thoughts on everything Cal's doing, but historic is really the right word for it. This is history we're watching right now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's getting to the point, kind of like as a kid. I guess today is a little bit of a throwback Monday as we talked about the Sonics to open the show. Truly, it's getting to the point for those that are of my age. I think Lyle's a little bit too young, maybe even the mid to late 30s something. It's getting to the point where this is like Griffey era. Like as a kid in the 80s and 90s and watching Ken Griffey Jr. and watching him do things that nobody else on the planet could do, right? To be one of, if not the best player in the game at that time, and then being this like 220-pound, just strong safety playing center field, jumping on walls and taking away home runs and climbing walls and then hitting home runs in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in a row where you just like, you're not supposed to do this. Mm-hmm. You're making this really, really difficult game look easy. And it kind of reminds me of all people, Adam Gase. When I was doing the AFL in 2020, he said, you know what kind of sucks? Mahomes. He's ruining the game. He's so good, and he's making it look so easy that, everybody else is like, what am I supposed to do about that? Mm-hmm. Cal right now hitting 31 bombs. Oh, not even before the All-Star break. I'm hearing, before the All-Star break. He's played 75 games.
It's really remarkable. He's on pace for 66. The stats are incredible. This one that Morris sent over from Jordan Schusterman's pretty amazing. This is crazy. I'll read this. Only Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Eugenio Suarez, and Kyle Schwarber have hit more home runs this season than Cal Raleigh has hit left-handed. So he, as just a left-handed hitter, would be fifth in baseball in hitting home runs. He's also hitting 315, on base of 371, slugging 708 with 10 home runs, batting right-handed.
Yeah.
So just the left-handed Cal, taking away all of his, about a quarter of his at-bats maybe are right-handed, maybe somewhere along those lines. Take away the right-handed, he's the fifth highest home run hitter in baseball. And then you can add back in the other 10 and everything else that he's doing in OPS, well over 1,000, almost at 1,100 right-handed. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I made fun of you, when you put your list of the most intriguing Mariners. I kind of poked fun at it, but I understood where you were coming from. It wasn't like insane that he wasn't one of your 10 intriguing because he'd done it, right? 27 home runs, 30 home runs, 34 home runs, Platinum Glove Award winner. And it was like, well, Cal's going to hit 30 home runs. Cal's going to play great defense. You kind of know what you get in Cal. And then I think on the side, I was like, well, what if he does more?
It's honestly, to me, if you had asked me that a couple of months ago, it's impossible. He kind of is what he is. He's 28 years old, and, he kind of grew into this and took him a little while as a switch-hitting catcher. But this is probably about all he's got because, players by that point generally have reached their pinnacle of kind of who they're going to be.
Right.
Not so much. He's unbelievable. And the numbers, Brock, are only part of the story. I actually think right now the Cal story is almost best told by feel. You can feel Cal's presence in every game, right? If you were an opponent facing Cal Raleigh, you can feel him looming in that lineup. You know he's coming. It should affect the way you pitch to the guys in front of him. It should affect who pitches to whom, affects the way you bring and use your pen, right? I mean, like the Red Sox bringing in Chapman in the 8th to save that game last week, it didn't end up costing them, but it could have. Right? I mean, like, if you believe in the magical 9th inning and the final out is harder to get, well, you're forcing the other team to go to their closer in the 8th because you have to make sure he's the one who faces Cal Raleigh because he's Griffey, Bonds, McGuire, Souza, whatever, when they're on that kind of a tear. And it does remind me of those guys. You mentioned Griffey. I didn't get to watch as much Griffey just growing up in the East Coast, but the 98 home run chase was, as interesting to me as anything like that in sports that I've ever followed. And this is what it felt like. Like, surely he's not going to, oh my God, they made him pitch and he hit a home run. Like, surely he can't hit another. Oh my God, there's another home run for in this case, Cal Raleigh. But that's how it felt with McGuire.
Yep.
That's how it felt with Bonds the year he hit 70, and during that entire kind of stretch there, he's on pace for 66 home runs. Brock, does the number 61 still hold meaning to you?
Yeah.
It does to me too. And you know me, I'm not I don't get too bent out of shape about steroids. And I think McGuire and Souza and Bonds should all be in the Hall of Fame, along with Roger and all of them. They should all be in the Hall of Fame. They were the best players of their generation. The idea that they're not in the Hall of Fame, to me, is absurd. But 61 still holds merit. Maybe you don't get to have the official title of, the single season home run record, but it should be mentioned that if you can do that clean, I think that absolutely has
Didn't Judge do
power.
that did Judge do that a couple years ago?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Which is great. Yeah. It still is meaningful to me to get to 61.
Oh, there's no question. To get anywhere near 60, 50 would be unbelievably meaningful. In this case, 49 would be unbelievably meaningful because Salvi, as the all-time catcher.
49. He's going to get there in like 10 days.
I mean, it feels that way. But you also know how difficult and demanding. And that's the other aspect of it that we can't say enough about it. Right? He's not just a DH, although he was yesterday. And have you noticed, as a DH, I bet his splits are not nearly as bad as they were like a month ago when we looked at those things, right? He continues to just do it right-handed, left-handed DH, playing catcher, but doing this while being the best catcher in baseball as well. Framing, throwing, pitch calling, leading. I mean, it is just, as you said, you kind of run out of superlatives.
You do. It helps to just ask other people. We asked Jeff Passan about him last week.
At the end of the day, and it's funny to say this because we've said it about another player in the past, the Mariners are going to go as far as Cal Raleigh can take him. He is the franchise now, and that fans around the country see that, I think, is a great sign for him and for baseball, frankly, because if he weren't starting the All-Star game this year, it would be an absolute farce.
And I think that, fans, and you brought up earlier, how do other fans feel or other media members feel when they get a chance to see the Mariners for 3 games? I think they feel a lot of feelings about Cal Raleigh, right? I mean, just seeing it and being like, man, you can't throw this guy a pitch. You cannot throw him a strike. Heck, sometimes it's not even a strike. He is getting into that zone where if I'm an opposing manager at the end of a game, I might just walk him with nobody on.
Yeah, and you started to feel that yesterday, right? He hits a home run in the opening at bat to kind of set the tone.
Yep.
And then he really got almost nothing to hit, yet he still hits the upper rail fastball for this top spin, just 100-mile-an-hour exit velo single to right field, right? And I think, though, a couple things that as we've watched Cal kind of develop and grow into this, that your eyes just see. Don't even need the savant and the next level stats. You see that his bat is just missing so many fewer baseballs. That when the GM or the manager, John Schneider of the Blue Jays, said famously a couple years ago that he's not that hard to pitch to. Now he is brutally hard to pitch to. Now his right side, you feel, back in the last few years when he hit right-handed, you're like, well, that's cool. He's capable, but I sure like him better left-handed. Now it's like, is there any difference? It almost feels platoon neutral, doing the kind of damage he's doing when he's hitting right-handed. And then I think that word you say, feel. You feel him. And as a competitor, Salk, as a player, I love that. Like in high school, I loved going to play up at North Kitsap my senior year. And I want them to feel. I loved going into high school basketball gyms and then warm-ups like, you're going to feel me. Like, even collegiately, having some of those times and some playing with some great teams in that, 96 year with Corey and Jerome, like, you're going to feel us. We're going to pound the football, and then I'm going to drop dimes right over your head. Like, you're going to feel us. And it's really hard at the professional level to get to that point.
Well, and it's really hard in
Very few
baseball
players.
where there isn't a physicality element to it, right? There is no contact. You're not going to run into them. Even basketball, which is not technically a contact sport, has a lot of contact in it.
Yes, it
Football
does.
obviously does. Hockey obviously does.
Yep.
That is not baseball. And yet you feel that physical presence of Cal Raleigh kind of looming throughout a game. It's really remarkable. And, I think there are a few other things that build it up even more. He's so affable. He's so likable. He has so many of the leadership qualities that people want. And then you put him, into a player who's doing this kind of a thing. I think that adds to it. You mentioned the defense earlier, the toughness that goes with that position and sort of playing catcher and sort of the mystique around it. But I'll reference this as well. Doing this after signing his big deal is I tip my cap to him. It's a
100%.
remarkable achievement. It is so rare that happens where you give a guy a big deal and immediately he just starts playing better rather than shutting it down, rather than eating or drinking his way out of the league. Like, nope, I'm going to take this and absolutely reward the city, the franchise, ownership, GM, everybody who was associated with it by giving my absolute best and actually taking a huge step forward. It's mind-blowing. Honestly, it's a remarkable testament, not just to his baseball athleticism, but to his character and who Cal Raleigh is.
So Peyton was a year older than me, Peyton Manning. I almost came out in that draft with him and Ryan Leaf. I did not. Went back to school, tough year, a lot of scars, a lot of scar tissue from that final season for me. But then Peyton goes on and has some great success. And then I believe I was there. Was I there in Indy? I believe so, when he signed his first big contract, right? He was the number one pick, so he got a really big contract, but then he played at a really high level and got his next contract. And I'll never forget that press conference. I remember being home and watching it, and he said something so profound and so true that pays off exactly what you said about Cal. It was not a reward. Like, this is not a reward. Now it's an opportunity for me to go earn it. Like, I'm going to go earn all of this. Like, you've bestowed this upon me. You made me generationally wealthy. You've taken care of generation after generations. You know what my job is now to do? Go earn it. Go earn it. Not act as a lottery ticket, not act as a reward, but now I got to go earn everything you've given me. And that has been Cal's approach. And man, is he earning it right now. 31 home runs. 31 home runs.
Lyle brought up earlier, like, this is not, I mean, I know it was a done deal. Aaron Judge is going to win the MVPs from New York. So, obviously nobody else has a shot. But this is becoming a compelling race, no?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. I mean, so there's a couple points to this. They're within a war of each other now. Less than
What
a
do you mean
win.
war. You can't say war this time. Everything that's going on in the world, Lyle. Gosh,
Stop it.
use a
Leave him
different
alone.
term.
That's
Wins
enough.
above replacement.
you.
There you go.
Jeez.
Per Fangraphs, they would actually call that F war for short. So there you go.
A lot of people saying F4 right now.
That too. Anyway,
Lyle, don't do this to him. Salk, don't do this to Lyle.
Anyway, since May 1st, you look at Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge's numbers. Judge in that time has a WRC plus of 203 and an OPS of 1135. Cal's got an OPS of 1155 and a WRC plus of 221. So in other words, guys, for more, like, Cal Raleigh has been better than Aaron Judge for more of the year than Aaron Judge has been better than Cal Raleigh.
It's remarkable. And by the